Hello everyone, today it's James Diboe on the new show discovering new things and discovering all sorts of things, like discovering things myself, like traveling around and discovering different tribes and all different things. We've got two special guests in the house today. We've got Alicia
Hello.
and we've got Miesha Estridge.
Hi.
Hi, well, great today. What we're going to be discovering today is some of the things that you've been doing, and we've got you doing the Shakti Reiki.
Shakti Reiki.
Shakti Reiki, yeah. The bit of meditation and all different kinds of things. Yeah. And Alicia, you've been doing modelling, you've been doing acting, you've been into your drama.
Yeah, and charity work too.
And charity work too, yeah. Okay. So we're going to start off on what you've kind of discovered with it, and also a bit of a timeline on what you're doing. So if you wanted to start with your timeline and what you've discovered.
Yeah, so this year during the lockdown, I was awarded Miss Sovereign Ambassador, and that was actually my second pageant that I was part of. And expanding more on pageants at first, when I started it, the idea of it was actually dreadful to me, because when you see it on telly, it's all like these girls competing against each other, and looking back at my journey, there wasn't really many people of colour there.
Wow.
So I think it was me there, and there was one other beautiful Asian girl, and I think at the time when I was on stage, I come on dead confident, I had my hair out and everything, and I never really got anywhere. And I remember my mum saying to me, don't try anything like that again. Not out of her being, she wasn't being negative, she just didn't want to knock my confidence.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to try and actually do it again. So the year before I won, I set up a campaign, and it was no more hate regardless the race, and it was me and a few of the other girls from the pageants, like, kind of getting involved in what it means to be different and understanding what it means to be of colour. And that was featured in Take a Break magazine, and then surprisingly I won. And I think to me it was important to discover it was never really about what I look like, but the kinds of work that I was doing behind the scenes, and that was something that was very special to me.
Oh, that's great. So it's about being natural and being yourself.
100%, yeah. It was in an industry like that where you're around with the girls, it's to be natural and to be authentic, it can be really difficult.
Yeah.
So I think during the second, like, I was 18 when I done my first pageant, and 2 years of experience and finding myself and not straightening my hair, having it curly, and going on my own little journey, I've come out a lot more confident.
Well, that's great, isn't it? Because you're on a real show today.
Yeah.
I think I'm about being natural, and we can go into Miesha now. The Shakti Reiki.
Yeah, Shakti Reiki.
Yeah. How did it all begin with you? Like, your timeline, and like what made you discover into getting into this? Like.
So for me, I started getting Reiki myself. I think it was 2016, end of 2016. I think it was on Instagram. I just kind of came across. I started following like a lot of spiritual pages on Instagram. I started getting into like crystals and just started to learn a little bit more about spirituality. But I was going through a lot in my personal life at the time, and I came across Reiki, and I didn't know much about it, but I thought I'd like to give this a try. And then from there I continued getting Reiki, but I tried a few different Reiki practitioners. So throughout the years I've seen a few different people, but it helped me massively helped me in terms of mentally, with my mental health that I had at the time.
Okay.
It really helped me. So then I was always sharing stuff like on my Instagram page, and my personal page, just a lot of like positivity and trying to just be authentic about, things not, happy and positive 24/7. So I found a lot of people coming to me like, this is inspiring me, or asking me a lot of questions. And then I just started thinking, like, what do I really want to do? What was my purpose? And I love helping people. So the fact that I loved receiving Reiki, I thought to myself, this is something I'd like to do. Didn't really have the confidence, so I didn't do a course for a while. And then I lost my job in August due to the crazy situation that we're in. And from that, I was like, right, it's now or never.
Well, one thing I noticed, because I'm a very spiritual person,
Yeah.
you know, I've met a lot of spiritual people around this world. And when I travel around the world, I move around this planet spiritually. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
But also, I seen a lot of your posts,
Mm-hmm.
and I caught a lot of your posts. Remember, I was having a bad day or something like that, and I was saying to my sister, "Oh, well," and uplifted me that post that you put on. It was different days. You'll have different kind of posts and that. Like, so have you always been spiritual, or is it like how would you say?
I feel like I have always been. I probably would say since like a teenager, I've always had that spiritual outlook in life and tried to read like. So I'd get into like law of attraction and stuff like that at quite a young age, and nobody really knew what I was talking about or was not too into it. But obviously, being like 16-year-olds, a lot of people aren't. Well, when I was 16, 11 years ago, so a lot of people weren't on that kind of vibe with it. And I feel like a lot of spiritual people will say the same thing. Like they've always felt like a bit of an outsider in terms of like friendship groups or with family or whatever that may be. And in terms of healing, I feel like from a young age, a lot of people have always kind of come to me for advice or laid or like the problems, that's not the right way to say, like, but they've always come to me for that advice or to be able to share what they're going through. And so I feel like from a young age, I feel like I've always kind of been a bit of an empath.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely would say it's been years that I've been kind of on the path. I'm still on the path. It's a never-ending journey of learning. But going back to before that, I did my course in September. I did my Reiki level 1, and from there I was like, this is definitely what I want to pursue as a business. This is
good.
Loved everything about it. And then after the course, you have to do Reiki on yourself for 21 days. And so it brings out a lot of emotion, a lot of self-healing. And then after that, I did my level 2. And I was doing it for free at first on family and friends. I was doing it for free because it is more than the money to me. It's a business, but it is about helping people. And, if I'm having friends who are going through, maybe bereavements and things like that, I will offer free Reiki because, I know how much it can help them. But yeah, so I was doing it free at first. And then somebody was like, I don't know why you're not charging for this yet. It's like, it's amazing, the feeling and the feedback I was getting from people. The first experience of Reiki, like, they were like mind blown with it. So then I was like, okay, I'll start as a business.
Good.
So yeah, so I'm new to it, like 2 months maybe. I've been doing Reiki for, so
I think it's nice to see your uniqueness as well, because being spiritual, some people that you meet are like, I think you've got to be 24/7 out there positive, but you've got a really nice aura about you.
Thank you.
And you seem very in yourself, so it's very unique. Lovely to see.
Like I say, I try and be really authentic with it.
So
James, you've been following my page for a while.
Well,
so
that's it, that's it, So we'll come back to that anyway. So Alicia, so you, like you're saying, you're a bit spiritual yourself, isn't it?
I am very spiritual myself, and I think I'm sure as you both can relate. Like we said before, sometimes you can kind of feel like an outsider, and I think I'd rather like I love being on my own as much as I do enjoy socialising. I often find myself sometimes just taking a walk, and I think as well it's something that I've been really discovering lately is the kind of industry that I'm in is like such as acting and modelling. I was saying this to the taxi driver before. You don't have to be a massive TV star. Or you don't need to have big massive following spam. Like I've got a little social media page at the minute, and it's got a little following, just close family and friends, and I think I'm very aware of kind of like what it could be like to go into that industry and be around, like, because obviously I'm 20, so it's easy for me to be more manipulated in the industry. So I am just trying to be on my own journey spiritually and learn as much as I can.
So I want to go into a little bit
Independently.
about the acting and some of the movies or the series you've been in. So
Yeah.
how did it begin with getting into acting?
So when I was 16, I was so naughty at school, never listened to the drama teacher, and I remember one time I was just in class and the way I can explain it is I just got onto stage and it kind of took me into a different dimension, and I was like, I really like this feeling and being able to relate to other people and put myself in other people's shoes. I thought I really like this, so I auditioned for Lipper. And then again, you know, I think there was about two black people in the college, so that was different as well. It was being around different people, but for me, that experience has taught me a lot. And then from there, I went to be on Levels, which was a YouTube series, and I played a bratty young character called Ashley, and then upwards and on. Then I was at the Everyman Theatre for 2 years, doing a few shows, and then I think what I found from there is that, you know, as much as I love acting, I'm not like in any rush to get into the TV industry anytime soon, because I think if you do something, I'm sure you can relate from the bottom of your heart.
Yeah.
That, you know, you love to and do it naturally, then it just comes.
Well, that's interesting you say that, you know, because anytime whether I'm on Chase's show or anything, you know, I'm just real.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of the time for the last like 20 years where I've been researching African history and different stuff, I've been like a lonely journey.
Yeah.
But that's what makes me more stronger.
Yeah.
Now, it's like nowadays I'm starting to see more people gravitating towards African history, you know, especially of what's gone on the last year or so. But I'm always on the positive level of it, you know, so and we can speak on Miesha, on a bit on the importance of African history. And I think a lot of African history can relate also to what you're doing,
Yeah.
because Africans is the first civilizations, and, you know, we're the first people on the planet
Yeah.
to populate the earth. I mean, could you relate it to anything with African history? Like, I mean, from a spiritual level?
To be honest, like, so when I spoke to my granddad's Nigerian, so I speak to him a lot because I know in some African cultures, certain spirituality and stuff can be frowned upon, like it's devilish.
Yeah.
And like it's witchcraft and that kind of stuff. But then in certain cultures, I think we were talking about this before, it's like, you know, they have like, you know, the witch doctors.
Yeah, they
and
call
stuff. Is it like, it's like herbalists?
Yeah, that's the westernized point of view.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
a natural, it's like a natural holistic view.
Yeah.
So it can relate, yeah. And when I speak to my granddad about, you know, his culture and African history and spirituality, in terms of like sacrifices and stuff like that, and
giving thanks.
Yeah, and they go down like the natural way and into the forests and, you know, with trees and nature. And for me, being a spiritual person, I love nature, and with you just saying you like to go on walks and stuff, that to me it's the perfect route in terms of spirituality, connecting with Mother Earth, nature.
100%.
So in terms of like African history and African culture, the fact that they do that alone, I love that.
What tribe also in Nigeria? I'm an Ijaw tribe, and I know you're the Yoruba tribe, Alicia.
Hausa.
Wow.
So we've got a Nigerian connection here.
Yeah,
This is definitely got to be spiritual.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hausa tribe. So your granddad's Hausa tribe. I think if I remember, he was born into the Yoruba tribe.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Don't quote me on that. I think he was. He'll kill me.
Yeah,
if
he
I
can
say
all
that
mix.
wrong. But then, Hausa tribe. So my granddad is like strong Muslim because the Hausa tribe is very into like the Islamic religion.
Yeah.
But my granddad actually has a big broom in his, which is made from palm trees.
Wow.
And in Africa, they use the brooms to kind of, if like these white bad witches enter your home or any negative energy, they kind of use the broom to clear that negative energy away, which like I do with sage. Basically. But yeah, my granddad has this big broom like he keeps in his bedroom, and not that he really has anybody in his home, but just he likes to keep some of that culture in there.
Very important.
Yeah, definitely. So it can relate.
And you obviously Yoruba culture. And
Yeah.
you know, your father's Nigerian.
Yes, so I'm very, very close with my dad, and we have a special bond. And funnily enough, me kind of, doing a bit of modelling and acting, my dad's quite strict on education.
Yeah.
And, he's supportive with everything that I do, but he says, education is
Yeah.
important, which I 100% understand. In terms of going a bit more spiritually into it,
Yeah.
I remember like before winning, I was sat outside, and I was just picturing in my mind, like literally, I'm gonna sound like a crazy woman, but I was thinking like, I could feel like these ancestors around me,
Yeah.
and I thought, with every, like, because the year had just been kind of crazy. I'd never actually seen many people, black girls win before, so I thought, I sat there and I thought, I'm going to believe in myself and think I can actually do this. Not just because...
The ancestors seem like the with you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
well, you are your ancestors. We are our ancestors, so...
100%. And I think, as well, in terms of education, I think it's important for, everyone to know who's kind of like on a spiritual level, that natural is beautiful.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
I've like kind of like been through, I'm sure you can relate, like wanted to have my hair straight.
Yeah. Being there.
And I think just, embrace what you've got around you.
Well, some people like it's about fitting in, but I can't play the game.
Yeah.
I'd lose if I played the game. I'm just about, since a kid, I've been deep. I've been into research. I'm very lucky that my father told me very early about where we're from, my tribe, and different things and that. And then it developed my own knowledge later on. So it's about planting the seed, and we planted the seed for me, and then I just grew like a tree, you know, and just moved around to different places in the world, researching, discovering new things. And that's what I'm about, discovering. Like when I went into Asia, no one at one time, I didn't know there was black people indigenous to Asia. You were supposed to have reached there about 60,000 years ago, the first to leave Africa. And it was just, when you see these people face to face, and it's like they can look in my eyes, I look in theirs, and you can just read each other, especially they're living around nature, so they're more spiritual anyway.
Of course.
So for me to have an experience with them, it's like I've been into the jungle by myself, and at night time just decided to take a 7-hour bus ride.
Yeah.
And most people probably wouldn't do this, and then I met up with like a ranger. He said, don't just go into the rainforest. First of all, we're better speaking to this ranger, because you might start blow darts at you and stuff. So and also you got tigers in there. So it was my experience when I was in there at the night time. I've got video footage and everything, so soon, I'm going to be putting a lot of more things together soon and that. But it's great that we can connect all on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
100%.
And like you were saying about your spirituality, and also, can you see the importance? This is like, I want to go a bit more into it. The importance of African history from a positive level. Positive points could be a lot of negativity about it.
Yeah.
Like, can you see the reasons why it should be taught in the schools, and whether it's colleges?
It really should, because when I was in school, probably you can both relate, it was all about slavery, and it was only like Black History Month, then you'd learn about, African history, and it was about putting like Kunta Kinte.
It was just a book.
It was, there was no really like thought or passion into it, I found. And it's just the negativity, black people in Africa were slaves and they got whipped, and it was very, very, very negative.
Feels like a bunch of lies, and then once obviously you realise that truth, you kind of look back on the education system and you think, it's a shame because they failed, and there's so many people who want to learn nowadays, so don't fill us with lies like we're stupid, because we deserve to know the truth.
Well, I did visit the Kunta Kinte area when I went to Gambia.
Yeah.
It's with Kayla. And when I got there, and it was about 6 years ago, about 2014, and it was funny where you're watching something as a youth. I watched Roots, and it was just so negative. But when I was there, it was unbelievable, like, where I was so angry at the time, and very negative. And then I was speaking to a lot of the people who were there and that, and then, they uplifted me. Like, don't just look at everything as negative. Our history goes back hundreds of thousands of years. So it's not just about, and that led me then where, like, I didn't like being angry because it's not going to help your life, especially if you want to be spiritual. So the balance of life, of course, it existed, but it existed all with all races. You know, slavery's not just only for black people.
Of course.
Obviously, the transatlantic slave trade was a big thing. Of course, it was, you know, it really changed everything for us and that. But our history goes back more than 400 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about, you know, we've got to speak on these things also. We can't forget about it. But I think when we speak on slavery, it's also good to speak about also chiefs that rebelled, slave rebellion also.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think in terms of anger, something that's happened this year is obviously the George Floyd, which was popular. And I think something that kind of upset me was that this isn't new. This has been happening for a long time, and it's like all these people have come together and all of a sudden like raging, but this has been going on for longer than
it's been going on for years. It's just that people now fortunately have the phones on them and can get little sneaky videos and pictures, but it goes back years. It goes beyond. It goes way beyond that.
Yeah, and like as we're speaking now, like sadly, there's probably like people getting tortured all around the world. So just
very good point. Yep. But that's it. You know, it can't just always concentrate on negativity, because as spiritual people, as I become more spiritual myself, this is when I learn. Well, I've got to balance things out.
Yeah. Even
like not just slavery, other things in life. You know, you could have a bad day, you know, and then some days you have a good day. But it's like understanding. I'm relating to the forces of nature a lot, especially when I met the Maasai tribes in Kenya, and he was saying that they see God as duality. Their God's called Engai, and he was explaining duality, and I thought, well, that's relating it to like the force of nature. You got good weather, bad weather.
Yeah.
You know, so we're just no different. You know, it's like you were saying before about trees and that.
Yeah.
When you see people in ancient Egypt, you see a man praying out. You know how a Muslim prays on his knees, and basically he's giving thanks to the tree. You know, everything has a soul, every living thing. You know, the Maasai tribe pray on the mountain. You know, it's more sacred.
Yeah.
So that's how I got really deep into it myself. You know, like you can call it sacred science, spirituality. You can give it millions of different names. The laws of opposites.
Yeah.
But it's all about oneness, though. Even if like positive and negative energy, we all have that in us.
Definitely.
Of course.
But you got to choose which side you're going to lean to the most. I'm choosing positivity, like yourselves.
Definitely.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's why you've come where you came now.
And that's the importance of spirituality. Like I think you mentioned before, like some people will post it's all about like good vibes, positive vibes only, and 24/7, and that's not the case. And you would have seen from my page, I do try and be really authentic. If I am having like a bit of a bad day or something, I will kind of try and put that out there. I will talk about, like, you know, we all have like a shadow self we need to work with. We all have a shadow part of ourselves, maybe things that we don't necessarily like about ourselves, and that's
100%.
okay, because we are only human. We have feelings.
That's right.
So I think it's important to, if you're going to follow those spiritual pages as well, follow those pages who are authentic, because
you got
like
fake spiritualists.
Oh,
you do.
Too
And
many.
like you say, it's not good vibes only, it's not positive vibes only. We're human, we have emotions, we have feelings, we have our bad days, and
Of
that's okay.
course.
But like you're saying, if you're leaning more to that positive side, it's okay, because you're going to pick yourself back up, and you know that you allow yourself to have that bad day, and then
Knowing
the next
yourself.
day, you know, okay, it's a new day, I've had a bad day, I'm okay. Whatever you do to make yourself feel better, like I will meditate.
we need more realness
Yeah.
like that, and like James, you said, you know, there's that, you know, everyone's got like that little bit of like kind of anger in themselves, and it's kind of psychologically
That's right.
knowing that. And I think in order to like get, you know, become the best, you've got to acknowledge that there's
Definitely.
other stuff going on as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
bad
good.
comes with the good, and the
Yeah,
good comes with the
that's
bad,
it,
and that's life.
Yeah.
Like, that's life. That is life. So yeah.
No, that's good anyway, you know, because I can see the positivity in you.
Yeah.
And, you know, and like you're saying, you got to know yourself. We all have that trigger to something, because you could be having a great day, and somebody just walks in the room or says something, the wrong thing to you, and then you bring your demon out.
Yeah.
But it's understanding that and trying to control that.
Of course.
And I think that's part of just knowing yourself. And
Definitely.
we've got to know ourselves, you know, with all, like you said, nobody's perfect, we're all human. And the same with the the weather, the universe. It's the forces of nature. It works
Yeah.
both
Exactly.
ways,
Yeah.
and But like I say, back to the importance of African history, and so see when you were like you say, you were growing up, and then you learned about the negative things in schools and that. Now, there's a lot of civilizations that stretch back much longer. Like, people didn't know at one time that the ancient Egyptians were black people. Because there's been a lot of misconceptions where they'll try and say they were Eurasian or they were from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Also, Nigeria, they've got the knot culture there, which goes back, well, they say around like 1000 BC to 1500 BC, but I know it goes back further. Nigeria's history is very old, especially the Yoruba culture and tradition. And it's not a religion when they talk about Yoruba, it's actually more of a spirituality. And even though I'm an Ijaw, you're Hausa, yeah, and they all kind of relate, because a lot of them, Yoruba is the main language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can find even with all these religions, and even in ancient Egypt, a lot of things come out of Nigeria. And I'm happy to speak on this because I feel like that sometimes we only concentrate in Egypt, or we might only concentrate on Ethiopia, or Nubia, Sudan. So we've got to really understand that when people decided to come with the knowledge to build these pyramids, they were coming from like sub-Saharan Africa, that's what they call it, below the Sahara, whether there was Uganda area, Nigeria, because Nigeria gets left out a lot.
It does.
That's why I'm highlighting it today. So maybe one time you can do a bit of research into that. Because I was speaking a lot about the Bantu people, and the Bantus, they were from like eastern Nigeria, Cameroon area, and they've spread. We found Bantus in Kenya, Madagascar, and they're all over Africa.
Wow.
Wow.
Even like Ramses III in Egypt, he was Bantu. So it's when the Sahara Desert was green, so you'd have Africans moving in different directions. No one stayed still. So it's important that like we can speak on these topics and that, and I'm happy you're open to listen.
Yeah.
And anything in the also back to what you do also again. So you're acting. Where would you like your career to go? If you examine into your future.
So I would like, I would, like I said, I can't see myself like going into that like TV industry anytime soon. If something come along, I would maybe consider it. But at the minute, I think I do want to, because I study at university as well, childhood and youth. So I think I want to learn how to become a workshop leader, and I want to really develop them skills. So maybe I can educate more about black history as well, like you said, James. Because something that's interesting as well that I've learned from you today is when it all sounds so interesting. You haven't said, right, here's a book, and you're very passionate about it. So that's something I can take. So thank you.
I've got the book in my head.
You
know what I mean? Yeah. I'm a spontaneous speaker.
Yeah.
And I've got great memory.
And authentic.
Yeah.
Love
because sometimes you might.
Yeah.
Because you might get a boring speaker, and then like in school they just go fall asleep. You know, so I've got that gift and that. Now, Mica, where would you like your career to go? Like, where's like the next steps from a positive level? Where would you like to take it?
So I'm level 2 qualified Reiki. The next level would be a master level to teach it. So eventually I would like to do that and be able to teach, because although I've only been doing it for 2 months, I've had a lot of clients asking
You're very good.
I've had a lot of clients asking me, can you teach me? And I'm like, I'm not qualified yet.
It's sometimes it doesn't matter though about qualification. I don't have a qualification in African history or indigenous tribes.
Doing your own independent research.
Yeah, I'm a primary researcher.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. It's how you can, because I was reading your post, and like I said, many times I'll comment on your post, and I think it's brilliant, some of the posts. So it's a natural gift you must have to do it.
Definitely, it is. But so to be a Reiki practitioner, you do have to be attuned by a Reiki master, or you can't you can't go and perform Reiki on others. So I would have to do that master level to be able to teach others. So that is something that possibly next year, hopefully, that I can start looking into. And a bit like yourself, like in the future, I would love to be able to do workshops and
amazing,
especially with kids, because with my nieces, we do affirmations. So I'll go to them like, today I am, and they'll be like, I am beautiful, and I try and drum that into them at a very young age. So they're growing up confident and
Yeah.
happy, and you know, nobody's going to knock them down. They know they're beautiful, they know they're worthy, they know they're intelligent, and I'd love to be able to explore that more.
Yeah, because children are the future, aren't they?
Exactly,
Mm.
exactly. And I think the brain's like sponges, so you know, you can come across bullies and stuff like that and tell them that you're not good enough, or which they're not. Like, no, not that they're not, they are. So I think from a young age they need to know. So like my nieces, like some of them get 4, do you know what I mean, and 2, and my 2-year-old niece will tell me, I am beautiful,
Oh,
I
that's
am
lovely.
funny, and
Yeah.
I've drummed that into them. So and yeah, I'd love to be able to do that, like more so with kids that I don't know.
Can we get your social media?
Yeah,
You
so mine is Shakti_Reiki_.
You might have to spell it.
That's SHAKTI_Reiki REIKI_.
And do you have a social media, Alicia?
Yes, and mine is Miss Sovereign Alicia Fariaiki. So if you just type in Miss Sov and then Alicia, you will find me, because that is my only page that I've got at the minute.
I think people could spell that, hopefully. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you don't have to spell
Yeah.
that. Then Miss Sovereign. Yep. So anyway, so you know, anything you want to add yourselves? You know, feel free.
Yeah, just
Maybe something I missed. I don't know.
No, yeah. In terms of education, I think obviously if I could go, if I could go back and change one thing, it would just be kind of more research, more independent research, because like I said at the time, there wasn't enough information about, and I come from a very white deprived area, so there wasn't much access to, like, you know, Black history. So thank you for a whole different perspective.
Oh, definitely. You know,
Yeah.
and anything you want to add, Mica?
I would really agree, Miesha.
Miesha, I'm terrible at it. Yeah.
I would agree, really. I think even still now we're quite limited, to be honest, and I know I need to explore my African culture and history and African spirituality a lot more. I'm not afraid to say it, definitely, but I've been taught a lot from you, just listening to you
thank
today and
you,
listening to your
James.
podcast as well, so a massive
And thank you,
yeah.
Miesha, as well.
You too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I'm happy to do what I can do. Like I say, I like to discover new different things, and you know, we have to bring out more positivity, and it's about reaching people. You know, I've taught people around the world, you know, people in their own country, like in Sri Lanka, when I took someone in to see the Vida tribes. He was from there, and when he got there, he said to me, thank you for the experience. And as someone who's lived in that country all the time.
Yeah.
But we're coming to the end of the show now, and I really thank you for coming on discovering new things. I've learned new things myself off yous, and I really appreciate both of you. So thank you very much, Mica Estridge.
Miesha.
I'm terrible. Miesha Estridge. And also Alicia Fadiak.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for you coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Right,
Take good care.
it's a pleasure.